what it is that they have to say. I mentioned that it has to be 140 characters or less. That's why you're seeing short statements here next to each person. It's very, very easy to send a tweet. In this white area up here, you just type whatever it is that you want to say. Now, I did a little bit of tweeting earlier from my account, and there's also a VISION2020 conference Twitter account, which you'll see up on the screen in a little bit, that has been live tweeting the event. If anybody's on Twitter and wanted to tweet something about this session, that would be helpful, because clearly I'm not doing it right now. But all you do is write in here what you're doing. So, enjoying showing conference attendees all about Twitter. And I put this up at the beginning of the presentation, and I'm putting it again here. You'll note that I ended the statement with that # VISION2020. And in Twitter, that's what's called a hashtag. And a hashtag is sort of just a way of attaching a tag. For people who've used some sort of social media, their tagging is big. You say that this has to do with personal finance or careers or whatever it is the topic is. So a hashtag is how they do this in Twitter. And it's just saying that this is the subject that this piece of information is related to. You don't do it all the time. You do it on special occasions. And my special occasion today is that I'm tweeting this conference. And if you look online, if you searched for that # VISION2020, you'll find the things that I've tweeted so far under that hashtag. You'll find this hashtag, and you'll also find what the conference account has been tweeting. So all you do is click update, and there it is. It showed up as the top line here. Okay? That's all there is to tweeting. It's very simple. People think it's very scary. Yes?
Can you show folks how to do the tiny URL? That's usually very helpful.
I can, actually. Although I cheat, I use TweetDeck. What I was going to show next is retweets and replies and DMs. So those are kind of the three things that you need to know about how to use Twitter. We have over here what we call direct messages. So although most of Twitter is public, everything you say, everybody can read. Remember that. Everything you say, everybody can read. Don't talk about how much you hate your boss or how your wife irritated you last night, because they may read it and goodness knows what will happen to you. But there is an option for sending private messages within direct messages here, but only to people who are following you. So you can't send it to just anybody. If that person is following you, as in they're getting your tweets all the time, then you can send them a direct message. There is a private option. Oftentimes you'll have a conversation in public and you'll take it there for exchanging real life contact information or something like that. Here you see @Kristi, and it used to be called replies and now it's called mentions or vice versa. But this is basically anybody who has sent me a message or said something about me in the public tweet stream where they used my name. Heather's not here today except in spirit, because there she is right at the top. But there's, as you scroll down, all of these people have said something about me or to me or responded to something that I've said, and it sorts them all to you separately so that you can see them and respond to it. The last thing that is good to look at is a retweet. Let's see if I can find one here. Here's one right here. This RT, this is a Twitter convention. It means retweet. So if you're reading something that somebody says that you think is so interesting and fantastic that you have to share it with people who are reading your stuff, you would retweet it. And basically you just include the whole thing where you see this 5WPR jobs, that's who is retweeting it. RT tells you it's a retweet. Haj Flemings is the first person who said it. And this is what he said. All this text with the link. And it's because I wrote the article. That's why I'm in there. So that's the format, is you write RT, the person who you are retweeting from, so that they know that you've retweeted it. And Twitter does make it somewhat easier to do that. If you are looking at a particular tweet, you can hit reply from here, insert your RT, and go from there. So that's the basics. What you've learned in the last 7 minutes is everything you need to know to get started on Twitter. So my goal for people today was to start up. I don't know how many people are on here, but if you are willing to either today or when you get home, to start up your Twitter account and to send a tweet. I learned about Twitter at the VISION2020 conference. Please include the, wherever it was, the hashtag. See, now it's already run off. The, actually it's on here. That, the pound VISION2020 hashtag. And the cool thing is if you go to search.twitter.com, you can go on there and search for that, and you can find anybody else who decided to participate in this exercise and connect with them. So if you want to learn about what your fellow business owners are talking about, if you want to get the Cliff Notes from this entire conference, because I'm going to go back to that as soon as I'm done with this session, you can search there and find that information, follow people, and start getting connected. I'm sorry, you had a comment.
I'm just, after listening to what you just said, I was trying to figure out, how does that guy that posts his menu up every day, does he do it in 140 characters? I mean, he must only just write it out then, he doesn't put it on any kind of fancy.
Put a URL.
Oh, he put a link in. Oh, I see.
Well, you can either link, and I probably won't have time to go into the tiny URL today, but actually, I'm going to send these around, and if anybody wants to put yourself on my list, I'll actually send you the information about the tiny URL, so hopefully that will help clarify things for people. But you can do it in 140 characters or less, or a lot of people will link to their website. So for me, as a blogger, I often will write an article, and then I will just tweet the headline. Learn more about how to write an effective resume here. And there's the link. And that's one way to get the information out. So that's, when you're putting together a strategy for social media, it's good to think about how these things are going to play together. So a lot of times a website or a blog is the basis of your strategy, and then these other things help to drive people to it as you create that information. But that's not always true. Obviously, Whiffy's was perfectly successful with only a Twitter feed. There is no website. So that's there are different ways to do it. It depends on your specific situation and what you're trying to get to the people. Go ahead.
Quick question. I actually did try for this reason, actually sign up for the Twitter page. I'm signed up. But how do you get it to where it's sent to your phones?
Why don't we talk afterwards and I'll see if I can help you figure that out. Because it depends on the phone. I know I'm an iPhone person and there's an app for that. But not everybody is, and there are settings for it. There's a place where you can access it mobile, I think it's m.twitter.com. So there are a few different ways, and I'd be happy to help you figure that out on a break. Go ahead.
How do you drive people to your Twitter?
It starts with adding value. Okay, so we talked about that as being, the first thing that you need to do. So I'll give you my own personal example. I have, 2,400 followers or something like that, and I haven't done any real follower getting in a while.